there. My name is Savannah Neighbors, and this is the counseling video blog from Counseling 501 in week 6. So I wanted to discuss the criteria for this week. I did some research on the most common reasons for the board to discipline a counselor in South Carolina, where I'm from. There were a couple different things, but the most common ones are improper record keeping, inappropriate relationships, and lapse of licenses. Obviously, these are all serious codes of violation, and I can definitely see how during an audit, things like improper record keeping could come up. But the frequency of the inappropriate relationships between clients and counselors really surprised me. To me, there should be no question about participating in a violation of ethics, especially this one. But it was really interesting to learn about how frequently this happens. Letting your license expire or lapse is also something that surprised me, but it definitely made me aware of how crucial it is to keep up with continuing education hours and having proper supervision. There's definitely a lack of self-care and in the counseling profession. In an article titled Beyond the Breaking Point, which I'll cite at the end of this video, the author talks about counselors and their ability to empathize, saying that the greater the ability to empathize, the greater the potential for compassion fatigue. And I definitely related to that, and I could see how this is possible because I feel like empathy is one of my greatest skills, but it can also be a downfall when you start taking on and empathizing with everyone around you. Just because counselors are great at caring for others doesn't mean that counselors are great at caring for themselves. So I think that a lack of self-care can lead to a counselor becoming impaired and making unethical decisions that bring them to be reprimanded or losing their license and doing the things like I discussed above. The ACA Code of Ethics in Section C, Professional Responsibility, reads, counselors engage in self-care activities to maintain and promote their own emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being to best meet their professional responsibilities. So that's what the ACA has to say about self-care. It's obviously serious. It's not, they're not just throwing it out there saying counselors should take care of themselves. They're saying to be able to care for others, you have to care for yourself. Another thing that the author of the article above that I mentioned says is perfectionist standards, unrealistic expectations, boundary issues, and the inability to say no are all among other reasons why counselors either deny or ignore their need for self-care. So I thought that was really interesting. The question I would pose to my classmates and instructors are, what kind of self-care works for you to prevent burnout, second-hand depression, compassion fatigue? I would love to know how often you practice self-care as well. And I'm just really interested to see what you guys have to say this week. Thanks so much.